Today I'm going to walk you through color mixing different color families. So the first one up there says primary colors, and the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. They are the primary colors because they can make all of the other colors, but no colors can make them. So then I'm going to start working on the secondary colors. So I take a chunk of yellow, and then I take a little bit of blue, and we're going to make green and paint that in there. Clean the brush, take a chunk of red, and then I'm going to clean the brush, and then I'm going to take a chunk of yellow and try and make orange. But I did not put enough yellow, so I had to scoop more yellow. The red is very highly pigmented and yellow is not. So when you're making orange, you need to use a lot. When you're making purple, you're going to use an even amount of blue and red. So the secondary colors are made by mixing the primary colors. And then we're going to work on tertiary colors. Tertiary colors are made when you mix a primary and a secondary, like yellow-orange right here, for example. And then the next one, I'm going to make red-orange. I'm going to mix red with orange. Paint in the red-orange right there. And then I'm going to clean the brush and scoop it a little bit more yellow for this regular orange, because I was running out and I need to make sure that I have enough to paint future boxes. So then once I get that orange made and that red orange made and make sure I have enough, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush, and then I'm going to take purple and some red, and I'm going to mix them together, and it's going to make red violet. And then I'm going to paint that red violet in the tertiary boxes. And then I'm going to do blue violet by mixing blue and purple together. And then that blue violet will also get painted in the tertiary boxes. And then I realized that there's one box missing, so I just added it in there. So when y'all are doing this, you don't have to do all of the boxes unless you want to for the tertiary colors. And so then the next one, I'm going to mix blue and green and get blue-green and paint that in the tertiary color boxes. And then next, I'm going to take yellow and green, and I'm going to make a yellow-green and then paint that in that last tertiary box. So then next, I'm going to do cool colors. All of the cool colors are the ones on the color wheel that you see on the right side of the color wheel. Cool colors are yellow, green, green, blue, green, and then it's going to be blue, blue, violet, and violet. All of the cool colors are like water, grass, flowers. It just reminds me of like being in the shade when it's cool. And then the warm colors are on the left side, starting with yellow, and it's going to be yellow, yellow-orange, orange, red-orange, red, and red-violet. And those will be the warm colors. And so warm colors are very easy because you're just going to think about fire and the sun. And then cool colors, you'll think about water, grass, and I always think like purple flowers. And then after that, I'm going to start working on a triad. And a triad is when things are evenly spaced, when there's 3 colors that are evenly spaced on the color wheel. So I chose yellow, orange, and then I chose blue, green, and then red, violet. And then complementary colors are colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel. I chose tertiary colors, which I chose yellow, green, and red, violet, because they're directly across from each other on the color wheel. And then split complementary is when you choose colors that are directly across from each other on the color wheel, but instead of going with the colors like yellow and purple, I went to the sides of yellow and purple. So it was red, violet, and blue, violet. And then double split complementary is like, say I was going to do yellow and purple. Instead of doing yellow, I chose the colors on the sides. So it was yellow, orange, and yellow, green. And then instead of doing purple, I chose the colors on the sides. So it was red, violet, and blue, violet. And then analogous colors are colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So any set of 3 or more colors that's next to each other on the color wheel are analogous colors. So I went with blue, blue, violet, violet, red, violet, and red, because they're all next to each other on the color wheel. And then monochromatic colors are just one color plus white and black and gray. So I put red in the center, and then I'm mixing red with some white, and I'm going to, on the left side of the red, make white, and then it's going to slowly darken to red by adding more red each time. And then when I get to the red in the center, I'm going to start adding a little bit of black, and then it will get darker. So it'll start from a very, very light pink, and then it'll go to a very dark maroon. But all I did was add red, white, and black. So as you can see, it went from a light pink to a red. And then when you add a little tiny dot of black, it darkens it up a little bit. Add a little another dot of black, darken it up more. And it's making like a maroon color. And then I added more black, and then there you go. I'm going to take a paper towel and clean out the paint palette. Do not dump paint down the sink. Acrylic paint is literally plastic. And when it dries, it will clog the drains, and it will just collect so much just bacteria, and it will smell horrible. So then once you get most of it off, you'll throw it in the trash, and then you will rinse it in the sink. I don't care if it's your paint palette that you made, a ceramic paint palette, a plastic paint palette. You need to make sure you're getting all of the paint off. So that's why I'm using the sponge here. And if you need to, use a smaller sponge or just use your fingers, but you need to get all of the paint off. And I'm putting it on the drying rack. And then I'm going to grab the brush basin and the paintbrush, and I'm going to clean the paintbrush. When I put it in the paintbrush container, you need to make sure the bristles are facing up. Do not put the bristles facing down in the cup, because you'll ruin the paintbrush. So then I have everything clean, and then I saw somebody did not clean all of those paint palettes. They just left dirty paint palettes on that table. So since I saw that, I'm cleaning them off. So if you see that, you also need to help me out and clean them off, okay? Please do not leave any paint in paint palettes. And if there are large clumps of paint left in the paint palette, you need to get a paper towel and scoop out the paint.